President-elect Donald J. Trump.
God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country.
Welcome to our special BBC coverage of Donald Trump's second inauguration. I'm Sumi Somaskanda at the Capitol in Washington, D.C., where the president-elect will take the oath of office in just a few hours' time.
And I'm Caitriona Perry. Thanks for being with us. Let's take a look now at the live pictures of the Capitol, where just hours from now, Donald Trump will make his historic return. Day is just breaking here. The day, of course, that Donald John Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States, in a ritual of American democracy dating back more than 230 years. We can expect plenty of pomp and circumstance with an inaugural speech, a celebratory parade, a little different than was originally envisaged, and of course later on those glitzy inaugural balls. Plus there'll be musical performances from the Village People and from country music star Carrie Underwood, amongst others.
How they engage, how they behave, and what they do in order to get things done.
We'll wait to see that, Stephanie. Of course, we'll all be watching for that in just an hour and 45 minutes from now, when Donald Trump takes to that stage, puts his hand on the Bible and swears into office.
President-elect Donald J. Trump.
God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country.
If you're just joining us, welcome to our special BBC coverage of Donald Trump's second inauguration. I'm Sumi Somaskanda at the Capitol here in Washington, D.C. We're counting down the minutes now. The president-elect will be taking the oath of office here at the Capitol in just a few hours.
And I'm Caitriona Perry. You're very welcome. We're delighted to have you with us. We're looking at some live pictures here of the Capitol, where Donald Trump will make that historic return to the presidency. Of course, he's set to be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States, in a ritual of American democracy dating back more than 230 years. It's a bitterly cold day here in Washington, D.C., but as you can see in that shot of the Capitol, a glorious blue sky, plenty of sunshine here as day has now broken.
That, as Obama once said,
we'll wait to see what
red or blue America, we're the United States of America.
We'll wait to see what he says a little bit later on, Stephanie. We'll see what he says there. And just to tell you as well that the former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is also inside at that church. Plenty more still to come. Stay with us here on BBC News.
President-elect Donald J. Trump.
God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country.
A very warm welcome to our BBC coverage of Donald Trump's second inauguration. And I'm Sumi Somaskanda at the Capitol in Washington, D.C., where in the coming hours, Donald Trump will be taking the oath of office.
I'm Caitriona Perry. You're very welcome. Thanks for being with us. Well, let's have a look now at live pictures of the Capitol building, where in just a few hours' time, Donald Trump will make his historic return. He is, of course, set to be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. You can see there a lovely aerial shot of Washington, D.C., a very frosty Washington, D.C. It's about -7 degrees Celsius at the moment, and there was a fresh snowfall last night, so you can see the city there, the National Mall, dusted by snow. Of course, that National Mall at this point on an inauguration day would normally be full of people, but because of that weather, President-elect Donald Trump taking the decision on Friday to move the proceedings indoors inside the rotunda of the Capitol building, with a watch celebration party and parade in the nearby Capital One Sports Arena. And he has said he wants to strike a more optimistic tone in that speech, which of course he will be delivering less than 2 hours from now. But right now he's inside that building, the White House. President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump meeting for tea.
Welcome to our special BBC coverage of Donald Trump's second inauguration. I'm Sumi Somaskanda. I'm in the Capitol here in Washington, D.C., where in just about 1.5 hours' time, Donald Trump will take the oath of office in the Capitol Rotunda. Now let's take you to some pictures of the White House. What we've seen just a moment ago is the President-elect Donald Trump and the incoming First Lady Melania Trump just arrived at the White House. They were greeted at the North Portico entrance of the White House by the outgoing President Joe Biden and the outgoing First Lady Jill Biden. This is all part of the tradition and of the protocol of an inauguration day. They were greeted there. They then entered together inside. What happens now is they have a private conversation over tea. It's not a long conversation, but again, part of the process of the inauguration. Indeed, John, excuse me, indeed. Thank you so much, John, for that. Really interesting as we're watching these past and present members of Congress there in the rotunda getting ready for the inauguration ceremony. There we see allies of President Trump, his incoming National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, and Byron Donalds, an ally of the incoming president as well. We are looking at these images in the rotunda where in just a short while, President-elect Donald Trump and his Vice President-elect J.D. Vance will be sworn in. They are currently, Donald Trump and Melania Trump, at the White House wrapping up their tea with Joe Biden and Jill Biden. And from there, they will take a large motorcade over to the Capitol, where we will see this formal swearing-in process, an historic moment marking an historic comeback for Donald Trump as well. We're about to see him sworn in for his second term in office on this day in Washington, D.C., indoors, of course, because of those cold temperatures. So we're watching these images, and stay with us for our continuing coverage of Donald Trump's second inauguration.
President-elect Donald J. Trump.
God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country.
Hello from Washington on a glorious sunny day, a huge day of history here. I'm Sophie Raworth at the White House.
And I'm Clive Myrie here at the Capitol building, where in just over an hour's time, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. Now, he's going to tell the nation in his second inaugural address that he returns to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success.
Donald Trump is the oldest ever president to be sworn in at 78 years old, beating Joe Biden by just a few months. Here he is, the president-elect and his wife Melania, who have already attended a short prayer service at St. John's Episcopal Church with their family, a tradition on Inauguration Day that started almost a century ago.
Cultural change as well as political change. Well, there he is. He's, of course, now the new commander-in-chief, President Donald Trump, the 47th president and 45th president, of course. The first man in history since the early 19th century to win a second term in office out of consecutive terms. He, in his inaugural, made it clear that he is going to hit the ground running with a whole raft of executive orders. He's going to declare a national emergency on the southern border. He's going to have a mass deportation program. Obviously, those measures are going to be subject to legal challenge, but he's made it clear that he is a man of action, and it's exactly what those 77 million Americans who voted for him wanted. You can keep watching all the live coverage on the BBC News channel and iPlayer. Stay here on BBC One for the 6 o'clock news with Sophie Raworth from the White House. But first, here's a reminder of the afternoon's events on this historic day in Washington.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect of the United States, the Honorable Donald John Trump.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. I was saved by God to make America great again.